In this HTDF example problem, you're going to see a case where the problem statement isn't very specific about the function we need to design. That's going to happen more and more as we go forward in the course. Remember what I said in the first video. Design is the process of going from a poorly formed problem to a well-structured solution. So making the problem more specific is part of the design process. In this video, I'm also going to talk about how many tests you need for a function. And we'll see another example of a case where you get partway through the recipe and realize that you need to go back and refine some work that you did in an earlier step of the recipe. In this problem, we're asked to design a function that consumes an image and determines whether the image is tall. So let's see. It seems clear that it consumes an image. But what does it mean to determine whether the image is tall? Well, we're asking, is this image tall? So that's kind of a yes-no question. By convention, whenever we design a function that produces the answer to a yes, no, or true-false question, we design that function to produce a Boolean. So we'll say Boolean here. Okay? And now what's the purpose going to be? The purpose is going to be something about if the image is tall. And the key thing is, so far I've only said it produces a Boolean, but I haven't said what true means. So you want to say in the purpose, produce true if the image is tall. You need to distinguish, which does true mean. Does true mean that it's tall or that it's not tall? So whenever you got a function producing a Boolean, your purpose has to be very clear about what true means and, by implication, what false means. So let's see, here's a stub, and this didn't tell us what name of a function to use. The problem statement didn't tell us what name to use. That's usually going to be the case. You're usually going to have to invent the name of a function when you design it. And it turns out that in the programming language we're using, there's a convention that functions that produce a Boolean, functions that produce an answer to a yes-no question or a true-false question, have a name that ends in question mark. So we're going to call this function tall question mark. It's going to consume image, and a good dummy answer is false. So that would be the stub, and now we can write some tests. So let's see, check, expect, tall question mark. Let's see, I need an image, so let's take a rectangle. Oh, wait a minute, before I forget here, I'm using rectangle. So let me quickly go up top here and say require to HTTP/image. So I'm going to make a rectangle that, let's say, is 2 wide and 3 high and is red. The color doesn't really matter here, but rectangle needs the arguments. Let's see, it seems to me that a rectangle that's 3 high and 2 wide is tall, so we'll say true. Now I want you to ask yourself right now, how many tests does this function need? The right number of tests for a function is going to be an issue that we talk about more and more during the course. How many do you think this function needs? Write down your answer, or just remember it, and we'll see where we end up.